Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal weekend. So as we go ahead and we look at this market right now, you recall from last weekend's video that a couple of key areas I was looking at was this accumulation bar in the backdrop. And you'll notice there's been an awful lot of activity since that time here. Going into Monday, we got right down below there. We stayed below there into Tuesday. Wednesday, we went ahead and pushed down as well. After Thursday, which reached a new low, we kind of pushed back up here, giving people a lot of hope that this thing is all over. So what I want to go ahead and do right now is just let you know from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, this area up above is actually all resistance at this point. So you'll notice here we have a lot of falling resistance here on top of us. So you can see multiple layers of it coming down there. And so with that being said, that is an awful lot. Even if the this long-term area, which from my perspective here now, like I said, we pushed down below there, so that in itself is resistance. Even if that wasn't there, the thing is, you still have all this other resistance coming down on top of us, and every day that goes by, that just goes and gets deeper and deeper. So from my perspective right now, long side, which we're going to talk about long side in just a moment, but long side in general for just casual, day-to-day buy side activity is not what I'm focusing on. Now there's inverse ETFs, which we'll talk about in a moment, and there's also key items. In the past, back right after the Russian invasion, I went ahead and focused on defense plays, but primarily food, energy, things like that, because of all the inflationary issues. I've been talking about energy since you recall back in October at the Wealth 365 Summit. All 5 stocks that I shared with you in Sector Scanner were energy related in some way, shape, or form for the most part. I think there was one exception to that. So 4 out of the 5 were energy. So we've been talking about energy for quite some time here. But with that being said, one of the things that you can do is focus on inverse ETFs. Now consult a registered financial representative and a risk trading plan, of course. All instruments have different types of risks. And also in the interest of disclosure, I just want to go ahead and let everybody know, I know that one of my staff members currently has a long side position in the SQQQ and is holding that despite the pullback on Friday because he got in pretty low. And because if you recall, I've been talking about these for quite some time, going back even to last year. But even the one class I was able to do for you this year, I've done one public educational class outside of the Wealth 365 summits, and in that class I was talking to you recall about inverse ETFs, and here we go. This is the actual slides I showed you at that time back at the beginning of March, where right after the Russian invasion I kind of showed you each day what trading I did, long or short, kind of focused on the strategies I was using at that time. So fortunately I was able to do that one event for you outside of Wealth 365 Summit before I had the big surgery and the complications. So you recall what we talked about there. While that market is going down, these are long side opportunities from my perspective, and we even talked about like the SQQ at that time and how to see that in different scans and things like that. So the thing is that those are opportunities. It's good whether in bullish or bearish markets. It's good to understand the inverse ETFs. Consult a financial representative, of course. But for some people that are watching their 401ks become 201 and 101ks, and they can only go, some investment vehicles only allow you to do long side trading in the type of program that you're invested in and whatnot. There may be something there to go ahead and look at. So of course, there's always the intraday opportunities as well. And so with Friday, naturally, Friday had that bullishness associated with it. So you see some long side signaling firing off here in different ways here. IRBs, reverse RBs, wealth signals, wealth breakouts. Speaking of breakouts, the breakout forecaster, back over here, all that good stuff. Lots of stochastic spikes that were taking place there. there, and so on and so forth. So a lot of opportunities there. And then naturally, we've been talking about Netflix, right? Way back over here, we talked about Netflix a lot. In fact, I did an interview for an Italian station talking about Netflix back in the day. Now, they made some interesting announcements on Friday, addressing their audience there, or their employee staff. So there may be some changes coming to Netflix, but in the short term, Netflix has had a rough ride. And as you recall, I was telling people, well, hey, people are going back to work. The COVID restrictions are being lifted. The prices are going up for Netflix, different things like that, and a lot of pressures. PayPal, went ahead and late last year, around October-ish of last year, announced that they were going to, or the government announced, that they were going to have to, they were going to start having to track proceeds closer for tax purposes and everything else. And a whole bunch of people are coming out on TV and interviews saying, hey, well, if that's the case, I'm not even going to use these guys anymore. Forget that. Of course, that led to some incredible sell signals being fired off. And actually, I discussed that in an Italian interview as well. But that continued on. You can see where we're at now. So some really exciting opportunities in these markets. Short, if you can do it, and you can get the shares to borrow. Long side, if you want to focus on some short-term trades, even in the bearish environment. That's counter trend though, so be careful with that. Tend to focus more on short side in the sell side market and buy side on the buy side market, except with the exception of inverse ETFs in that. So we're going to go ahead and you recall that I've talked about those, and as I'm getting back to the full days here, talk to my student family again, hear about the questions that student family are asking. I want to go ahead and do another event here as I'm getting back to being able to be out there publicly for you, and I want to go ahead and focus on how in these kind of markets you can focus on fast and decisive decisions. What tools and strategies I'm focusing on right now in the environment, not including my TRP and ITP tools for this particular event. Everything I'm going to show you will complement those, but those are a culmination of my life's work, the ITP and the TRP. We're going to set those aside and focus on other things that you guys can go ahead and focus on here in these markets. And I'm confident that you're going to get more timely insights, because if you think back to what I've been sharing with you at the Wealth 365 summits, and then the few public events that I've gone ahead and done for you, you can see what's happened, the things we talked about, what happened there. So you're going to get a lot of excitement. So it's really the one event that you need to be at. I know there's a lot of events everywhere, and that's great. You want to go to every single event, go to those. I'm not going to be promising you all sorts of wealth and riches and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to focus on the process, because the people that I resonate the most with, that makes sense, right? They get it, right? And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and be focused on. So this could be a really exciting class to go ahead and be doing with you guys. So this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll go ahead and do a class. I may do one earlier. If I do, I'll announce it. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll do Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And if you want to go to becomeabettertrader.com/go, you guys can get registered for that event. So just make sure that no matter what is going on in your life, you carve out that time to go ahead and be there for a really exciting training, back and forth interactive class with me. I'm really looking forward to the special event. What a great way to kind of get back into it publicly with all of you. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Go to becomeabettertrader.com/go so I can see you this Wednesday night. It's really the one event you really truly have to be at this week, and can't wait to go ahead and see you guys there. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.